welcome everyone. Welcome to Take Charge, where it is our goal to help people take charge of their future by taking charge of their now. Look, this episode is no exception. It's going to be another great episode with another great guest. I have beside me none other than Miss Felicia. Miss Felicia, thank you. Miss Felicia Peacock from
Yes.
Ohio. I was thinking Ohio and got mixed up, but all the way from Ohio. So, one, just tell me what did it mean for you to actually just come down from Ohio all the way to the studio just to impact our viewers?
Well, number one, I love connecting with individuals such as yourself who spread powerful messages about not having any type of limitations when it comes to doing what you really want to do. Okay? So I said, you know what? When we talked, I said, I feel the vibe. I know exactly what he's talking about. Let me go see in person if it's authentic. And so I'm here in person and it's authentic. And he's a wonderful guy. Number one. Number
Wow.
two, Cleveland, Ohio, we have some big things happening in our hometown. I'm originally from Brio, Ohio. So I wanted to kind of go outside of my comfort zone.
That's right.
Sometimes we get so complacent in just staying to the block you live on, and things are so much more adverse when you get outside of your comfort zone. So that is the reason why I am here today.
And can you say it one more time? Comfort zone. It's something that I heard about as a youngster. I heard about comfort zone, but until I actually embraced it, until I started to live it, I really realized that I was living in my comfort zone. What would you say to someone out there before we get started? If they're interested or they don't even know that they're in their comfort zone, how would they be able to really see or to stretch that comfort zone?
I think a lot of the times when we look at our forefathers, they're in this particular routine. Routine. And we're thinking that routine brings perfection. And the reality is, yes, it brings perfection, but does it bring experience? Does it bring street smart? Does it bring, entrepreneurship? So just really understanding that, you know what? If I'm in a routine every day and I haven't improved every day, let alone over the last year, over the last 2 years, it's time to get out of that routine. And it could just be reading a book a day. It doesn't have to be anything big. So I would tell an individual, if you're in a routine, even though it's good,
Right.
just try something different, just to shake it up a little bit.
And you know what? That kind of makes me think, if you're going to work out in the gym and you're working out and you're not seeing the results after a year, it might be time to switch up the routine. Not saying the exercises are good, but it may just be time to switch the routine up. So, hold on, I do not want to get off track here because there's a reason why Miss Felicia Peacock is here today. And the one thing I want to make sure we highlight, first of all, is that she's talking about moving outside of her comfort zone because she's actually done it. And that's one of the reasons why I want to make sure that I bring people who are living evidence of taking charge of their lives. And I want the audience to know exactly what it is you do. Now, you are the CEO and founder of Decisive Advocates. I did say that correctly,
You
right?
said it correctly.
Decisive
Yes.
Advocates. And would you mind just telling our viewers what that is and how long you've been in business?
Well, we're actually going in business on 3 years now. Okay, Decisive Advocates is a dental advising company. And basically what we do, we go into dental offices to make the money. It's important to always stay making money. So we actually work with insurance companies. We negotiate fees as far as reimbursements for the dentist. We also credential them in insurance companies as well. But most importantly, we find why either number one, you're not making money, or number two, you can make more money. So we handle that. And then when we help you out internally, we can go externally. So we have a marketing department that can market our dentists through multimedia, which is very important. Over the next couple years, you're going to see everyone switch over to this multimedia. So we want to keep our dentists really ahead of the curve. And so videography, photography, community events, we are completely in tune with our dentists.
So more so like a consultant, if you will, for dentistry.
Correct. I don't use the word consultant.
Okay.
Because
Decisive advocate.
Yes.
You're an advocate. Gotcha.
It usually stops, as far as when you're done with the project, it stops.
Right.
But really what I offer is a long-term relationship, which is very important,
Very important.
across the board, to always keep my dentists in tune with what they need to do next. Right. Whether it is, increasing your fees or, doing discounts or anything to help patients get into your door. You have to be aware that a lot of dental offices, when they open, they don't realize the location they're in. So we're able to tell them, okay, you're in a location, but let's see what we can do to work with that.
Got you.
So it's an awesome company. We have awesome individuals working with Decisive Advocates.
Now, can I just ask you a question? Was dentistry something you always felt a calling for, or you were always interested in?
Well, I actually started with marketing. Okay. And from marketing, it spawned this idea of, okay, I know I can promote myself. I know I can promote my brand. So as I was working through corporate America, I had an opportunity to work in a private sector that include dental consulting.
Oh, okay. All right. See, I knew that word was going to come up. I knew it.
Yes. So when it includes dental consulting, that was the private sector, but I've always been in the financial corporation level, as far as just working with finances, credit cards, loans. So I talk to thousands and thousands of people every single day, and I really wanted to take that into the private sector. So that's how I got into dental advising.
And the only reason I ask is because it sounds to me that you were able to create an opportunity. And a lot of times we look for opportunities to just drop and fall, but you took something that you were working in with the marketing, you saw a need, you saw a niche that you already have, you had the belief in yourself and your promotion, and you used all of that to create an opportunity. And that is what... Thank you, because that's what it's about. I mean, when we talk about taking charge, it's not about waiting for an opportunity. It's about creating one. And again, this is a live example. I mean, a young, black, professional woman doing the thing, her own business. Matter of fact, we connected through Facebook, just talking about how to expand. So you're actually now... correct me if I'm wrong, you're actually available in all 50 states now.
Well, actually, that's my history. I'm available, I've actually worked with different dentists in 50 states. But right now, I want to primarily focus on my hometown and my community. But as of right now, I'm expanding. So I'm able to take dentists on because I know different states now. So I'm very excited about the opportunity to expand and to help individuals understand how to make money in the dental industry.
Great. Now, I definitely want to make sure that I'm highlighting your success, but a lot of times we always look at the end result. We always look at the success, and sometimes we feel as though, oh, that's great for her, but I can't, what about I can't do it. That's great, but it was luck, or, that was meant for them. I can't do something like that. Let's just talk about the road to getting to Decisive Advocates, because today's title is The Success of Failure. And we're going to actually mention that a little bit later in the show, why it's titled that way. But as you're coming up to this successful point in your life, were there some adversity? So the question I want to ask is, what was the greatest challenge you've had as an entrepreneur, and how did you overcome that?
Well, I'm going to address the mothers. Okay,
let's talk. We got some mothers out there. We got some.
I still
and
finished.
Fathers.
Exactly. I'm going to address the mothers first. I was able to still finish with my degree at Ursuline College in Pepper Pike, Ohio. And currently right now I'm going to be finishing up my socially conscious MBA degree from Ursuline College. But one thing that made it more adverse was being able to balance being a mother and doing their homework at night, making sure they have the right morals. So I feel wholeheartedly that the reason for coming on the show and starting the Success of Failure movement is because as a mother, there were some instances that I felt I didn't make a good choice. And it set me back what I would say a couple weeks or months or years. And so when I realized, okay, regardless of having children, regardless of being a mother, I can still attend school. I can still start my business. I can still be effective in my community, because those challenges should not stop me from getting what I want. Usually in the mother role, we say, okay, I'm going to give up my dreams so that I can care for my children. But what my children is learning right now is that, okay, I have a mom who's going to go and get it.
Right.
And so they're going to look for someone, hopefully, we would hope, that's going to go and get it.
Or even more so, now you're giving them a pathway for them to go get it.
Correct.
And it's funny you say that. I was literally having this conversation with someone the other day, and she was saying kind of the same thing on the different side of the mirror or the coin, that I'm where I'm at now, but I want my kids to have more, and I've got to sacrifice what I have so that they can have more. And I said, I agree with that at some point, but what if that was a belief that was instilled that wasn't necessarily correct? What if it was up to us to go get it, so that we're instilling those very values into our kids? And it's just very interesting that you're having that very same perception. So what you're saying to our parents or our mothers out there is, even if you have your kids, even if you find yourself in a situation, that there's still room and there's still time for them to actually get what they really seek out of in life.
Exactly.
Okay.
Don't give up your vision or dreams because you want to create an empire, and you want to create a family, and you want to be a family person. And I feel as if, we were taught that we, just be a mother, stay at home, take care of the kids, wash the dishes, do laundry. But, it's really bigger than that. And I think once individuals really understand that the movement past that point is so much greater, the feeling, the joy, the passion is so much greater than how you're feeling. If that is your case, you'll do it.
Now, let me ask you a question, because the part of having to balance, that is something that we can notice. But what are some of the things maybe specifically that you found yourself having to do or having to sacrifice so that you could create that balance?
Well, I have a great support system, from my mother to my mother-in-law to my significant other to, just individuals willing to help us out. And being specific here is that as a mother, sometimes you can't go where you want.
Okay.
You can't do what you really want to do.
Would you care to elaborate? I'm thinking for my mothers out here. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Say, for instance, a lot of my, dentists like to meet at certain times based on their schedule, and you really have to take control of that, is what I'm learning over the last couple months, is saying, okay, business stops at 9 p.m., Okay, I can't take another call. Even though you want to help individuals, you can't take that call. You really have to spend time with your family. So I think the instance of telling my, clients, like, I love you.
Right.
You're great. You're awesome.
Right. But 9 o'clock, the door is closed, right?
And you know what? They respect me for that, because they're mothers and fathers as well. So it's just really understanding that's what led to the balance. I'm, just really, coming home exhausted, and my children looking at me like, "Mom, where's dinner?" Just that reality will change things really quickly.
So if I am relaying what you're saying correctly, you're saying that one, you didn't do it completely by yourself, which is okay, because a lot of times I think we think as parents or individuals we have to put all of this on our shoulders and do it on our own. But you said you had an amazing support system, which is great. And then 2, respecting your time.
Oh my gosh.
Respecting your time and being effective with your time. So what I hear you saying is, you know what, I don't know if you caught this, so let me just make sure I backtrack here, okay?
Yes.
She said her office closes at when? 9 p.m. Not 4 p.m., not 3 p.m., not sometimes when she feels like it. So you were really working hard all the way up to 9 p.m. Most offices close at what, 5, 6 p.m. So you were still putting in that extra effort, but you're like, hey, at 9 o'clock, this is my family time. I don't care what I'm doing, but I'm respecting my family time so that I can, have that balance that you wanted to create.
That's needed.
Wonderful. Now, mothers, I hope you're getting something out of this. We've got, a strong black woman CEO, not only just doing it in business. And this is what I'm finding in a lot of things that I'm reading and a lot of motivating people that I meet. Once you get to a certain level of understanding, of comprehension, of competency, I feel like most people have a need to give back. And I think that's where you are in your life, if I'm may be so forward, because what you're now doing is creating a movement, and that is called the success of failure. So before we get into the movement, actually, let's just talk about the success of failure, because that's a very interesting phrase of words there. What do you mean by success of failure?
Well, while studying the Socially Conscious MBA, I realized that I do have a value. I do have a voice.
You do have value. You do have a voice.
And I do have a vision. And with saying that, you cannot communicate that vision or value until you tell someone else. Now, I started telling other individuals because I also give back at Ursuline College, and I just tell them my story. Mother of 4, I'm still going to school. I have a full-time business. We can work this out for you if this is something you want to do to reinvent yourself. And the number one thing I kept hearing over the last couple years, well, what if I fail? You know what? I can't take that risk. Not today. I'll wait until next year.
Right.
When income tax comes, okay?
And I can afford to take that. Right?
And I can afford to take that. And, when I just started hearing all these stories and saying, what can I do to help individuals? Because I know in my head, I came a long way. I had to really cross some rivers.
Yes.
To get to where I am.
Some character building moments.
Exactly. You put it very well. And what tools can I offer individuals to help them get past this? So that's when I started building on the success of failure movement. And when I originally told individuals about the title, they're like, well, I'm not a failure. Failure it encompasses so many different things, mentally, emotionally, physically. And just sometimes not willing to take a risk when you really need to take it. It encompasses a lot. So that's the reason why I said, okay, how do I share my tools and my experiences of getting over the fear of failure, getting over the fear of the unknown? Yes. How do I help someone else realize that? And that's where the success of failure was born.
Wow. And, it's funny. Baltimore, Cleveland, and all around, you hear the same thing. What if I don't make it? What if I fail? But what if you don't? What if you succeed beyond imagination? And using that as a driving force. And you're right, I hear it all the time. Well, I can't do it right now. Well, if you don't do it right now, there's never going to be the perfect moment. It's almost like, I don't know if you can relate, but, when before I was a father, I wanted to wait for the perfect time. I wanted to be this financially, and I wanted to have this. There's never going to be a right time. It just happens, right? And it's the same thing with your destiny. It's, do you want to grab hold of that destiny, or do you want to continuously let it slip away? And it comes to me when I think about that, and you're talking about risk. I think when we're in school and when we're growing up, for some reason we associate risk and failure with embarrassment. We associate that with being laughed at or being thought less of. And those things, when it comes to your destiny and your purpose, those things are the furthest thing from the truth. Failing forward, being successful in failing. It's not that we want you to fail and just be successful at failing all the time. It's not that. It's understanding that even when you don't win, a defeat can still be a victory if you're learning from it, if you're growing from it.
Exactly.
I always use this all the time. My son, his first year wrestling, he thought he was going to go out and kill the daggone thing. You hear me? When I say he thought he was about to be MMA, John Cena, he just thought he was going to carry on and just be great. Needless to say, he lost his first match. I mean, like that. I mean, the guy pinned him like that. And he lost his match, all of his matches, the entire first year. Now, he was upset. He was crying. But, as his dad and his mom did the same thing, we coached him. We told him we'll be okay. We made sure he went to practice. We practiced moves with him. And by the end of the season, when it came to the championship tournament, he wound up winning the entire tournament.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's not – now, if he would have quit
yeah,
like he wanted to, okay, and like most of us do, it didn't happen yet. It's been 6 months and it hasn't happened yet. It's been 2 years and see when you quit, you miss that Eden, you miss that feeling of success. You miss the magic, so to speak. So you have to stick with it. This is not something that you want to play with. If you are really focused on doing something or creating a change or helping someone else, you've got to see it through to the end. See it through to the end. So let's talk about this success or failure movement, because we talk about success or failure, and I'm sure my viewers even can relate to that, but you're actually creating an event, a movement. Okay, so let's talk about that. Actually, Toya, do we have that on the screen? Okay, give us a few minutes, but we're going to talk about the success of failure. So it's an event. It's in Ohio. And can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, just, elaborating on, the movement, the, environment I'm looking to create, and talking with my director at Ursuline College, and she said, you know what, Felicia, this would be a great idea to really share with individuals. And I said, the success of failure. How inspiring is that? Not really, because until you know that, okay, I've hit rock bottom, or I've done something that, okay, I need to really rethink and try again. And so I'm actually having an event at Ursuline College in Pepper Pike, Ohio, which is a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. And it's going to be April 1st at 1 p.m., 2017.
Now, if I want to get tickets, how much are the tickets?
Well, tickets right now are only $20, but it's going to cover a variety of things in which you can get on Eventbrite. Just look up the success of failure. And so it's going to cover just a panel. It's a diverse panel. Dr. Narit Brenner, who is the director of the Socially Conscious MBA. There also will be Keith Freaky. He is also a professor that speaks at Ursuline College, which is a project management guru in my eyes. Okay. Myself, in which I'm just going to, again, tell my story and what I'm telling you today, and really go into depth in regards to some of the words that has infiltrated our thought process. And then also Antone Robinson, who is also a business owner at DTS Property Management. So we're all going to be coming together and talking about some of our more or less failures that led us to the point where we are successful. And it's not always successful monetarily. It's successful mentally, physically, emotionally.
Say it again.
On top of that, we're going to be eating, because you have to feed the soul and the mind. And then on top of that, I have a wonderful guest. She's actually a musical therapist. Her name is Brittany Atterbury. She will be there as well. Musical therapist.
Tell me about that, a musical therapist.
Yes, basically she is a lady sax. Okay, so she also specializes and actually studied in neurology and how music affects different parts of your structure, your brain. And it's really exciting the way she plays and how she really connects with you and really changes your tone. You can come in mad, but you're not going to leave mad type tone. So she will be there to really engage individuals that are audio listeners. And I learn through audio as well. And then so we'll have visual, which is the panel. And then just when we want you to come and let down your guards just a little bit.
Yeah. And I understand what you mean by that, but let's break that down for some of our viewers or who may see this later on YouTube. What do you mean let down our guard?
Well, sometimes when you had a hard day, you come in very guarded, and you're not. Yeah.
I wish they gonna make me smile. I ain't learning nothing today.
Right. And you really just don't connect with individuals when you come. And that's the reason why I tell individuals when you come, just let down your guards a little bit and be open to hearing a diverse panel, hearing the musical therapist who's definitely going to get you into that frame of mind of learning and not always just doing. Because we do have mundane jobs that just you keep doing the same thing every single day, or you're really not doing what you want to do. So I want everyone to come to this event, the success of failure, to lead to the success they're going to have after leaving the event, because that was the first step. I think individuals don't realize that, just success happens in bite-sized pieces, okay? You might say, okay, I want to build a skyscraper, but guess what? You have to order the materials first. So, a lot of people say, well, is it motivation? No, it's hesitation. You're just hesitating to say, I'm going to take the initiative to do something from this failure or risk that I've just taken, good or bad, to make something different of it.
And you're making such great points. And before I move on, my Baltimore, my Maryland viewers, now look, we need to support things like this. Now, when I was younger, we would go on ski trips. We'd go to Vegas, and we'd be getting all types of group events. Why can't we get together and do a group event for something positive like this? So here's what I'm saying. Anyone on Facebook right now who's interested, or anyone who contacts me at takechargeradioshow@gmail.com, takechargeradioshow@gmail.com, let's get a group together. Let's get a group. If I can get 5-10 people who are committed to actually going, I'll get the bus. Let's go.
Yay!
Okay, so,
come to
but
Cleveland.
I need you guys to come with me. I'm going. It's either am I going by myself or am I going in a bus? So,
yes.
But seriously, reach out. The one thing I wanted to talk about, because this is something that I have learned myself, is that success is not. It's not about the money or external. Success is a feeling, right? It's a feeling, and unfortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunately. I'm going to talk about myself. I thought that having certain things made me successful, or having a certain status made me successful. But to be honest, I felt like crap, right? I didn't have a lot of self-motivation. I didn't have high self-esteem. I always doubted my judgments, and I doubted my my value as far as my job was concerned. And the more that I worked on this, the value that I created, I get it when people say you can't be a millionaire financially until you're a millionaire in the mind. You just can't. And I tell you right now, I feel like a millionaire. And I know she does. And she smiled. Look at that smile. She's got a millionaire smile. And, you can either watch the growth or you can be a part of the growth. And we've got people like Felicia, like myself, who are urging you to be a part of the growth. Don't get left behind, because this movement is going with or without us. So you might as well catch on and be at the forefront. Taking your destiny in your own hands. Not saying you got to quit your job tomorrow. Not saying that at all.
Don't do that.
Putting something in place that, one, you can be proud of, something that you can pass on to your children, something that is going to move beyond you, something bigger than you. Because trust and believe, that job that you hold so dearly, if you were to not show up tomorrow, best believe by next week they'll have you replaced. You're just a part of the system.
Yes.
Next, find something that you make that just depends on you, not all on you, but you have that important piece that makes that much more significant, if you know what I mean. Decisive advocates wouldn't be decisive advocates without Felicia. Okay, so finding something that you can really invest in and watch manifest it, and I'm sure you'd agree, it creates a feeling like no other.
It's what we go back to is joy. a lot of the times we look at happiness and it's so instant sometimes and it goes away. But when you have joy, it actually, you wake up in the morning singing. You go to bed like, oh, I messed up all day, but I put on my favorite record and I go to sleep. You know, joy says, okay, I might not be the best, but I'm going to get there because I'm only in competition with myself. Not in competition. I'm only in competition with myself.
Yes.
And a lot of my peers that are from my area of Berea back home, they're doing wonderful things because it was instilled in us. Okay, I'm not in competition with anyone outside Berea. I'm in competition with myself. And I truly take that into every conversation, every relationship with any client. I really cherish a relationship.
And it's evident. If you can't see it on the camera, I can definitely see it in person. It's evident that not only are you a woman of great respect and great admiration, but I feel that you give it as well. And I can tell that this is something that's very important to you. And the fact that you drove all the way down here from Ohio and we connected on Facebook, this is something that's important to me because I feel like this is something that most successful people understand, and I don't feel like it has been translated into some of the communities that really, really need to really understand what it takes to be successful. Once you get it in your mind that there's nothing that can stop you, then the only competition is you. But we so look outward towards competition. I've got to be better than him, or I've got to have the same car that they have, or I've got to outdo them in this way. And then when the competition comes outer, you're never satisfied. You're never fulfilled. But just having your own pace, having your own increments. Like you said, you can't build a skyscraper all at once. You got to buy the materials. There's success in that. You got to lay the foundation, which is the most important part. There's success in that. Then you got the first floor, the second floor, and enjoy those little wins. But if you're always looking at that top, it doesn't matter where you are down here, you're never going to feel fulfilled.
Exactly.
And that's what the success of failure is, that there's joy, there's learning, there's growth in failing. This is the last point I want to make, and I want to make sure you can say anything. But, now I'm going to go a little bit deep on this. Now, I could be wrong. This just kind of came to me. But isn't evolution, isn't that a direct result of failure?
You are diving in deep, yes.
Let's just think about this. The strongest survive, right? And from that, we've evolved, we've adapted. Now, we wouldn't adapt if there wasn't something to adapt to or from. So there were certain things that maybe we weren't the best at, or we, for lack of better words, we failed in, and we had to adapt. We had to adjust. And that's evolution. And don't get me wrong, it's a little deeper than that.
It's a lot deeper. Right. It's way deep.
I'm just setting the premise. Okay?
Yes, I get it.
I'm not saying that I'm an expert on evolution or anything like that. But what I am saying is that the failure is a great component of change. Exactly. If you understand and you learn from that, if you take the time to, okay, I wanted to be here, but I didn't, this is where I'm at, and this is what I've learned from that. The next time you go up against that same problem, you'll have a better outcome. You'll have a different outcome. And that's the success of failure, constantly moving forward. So with that, do you have anything else to enlighten our guests with? Anything at all?
Well, I want to just touch the point of, when you're talking to the Maryland individuals and we're talking to the Cleveland individuals, not being scared to network with someone you don't know. That's very important. And really expanding your horizon is what I'm learning currently right now. And I do understand that a lot of the times insecurity plays a factor in moving forward. It's more or less a hindrance. It's shackles on your feet to where you just, you wake up every morning like, I just don't think I can do that. I can't do that. And, accepting that there is someone out there that's doing the same thing you're doing, but has joy. and say, okay, where can I find my joy? And I want to leave with that note. The success of failure is a movement. It's mentally, physically, and emotionally moving people forward. Even though my grandfather always said, yeah, you can keep messing up a long time, a very long time. Mm-hmm. When are you going to wake up? And a lot of us are at that long time when we're going to wake up, and that's the reason for the success of failure. So I just want to personally invite you to the Success of Failure, April 1st at 1 p.m. at Ursuline College. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. I'm not Snapchat yet. Okay. But you can also just make sure you can reach out to me too at decisiveadvocates.com. And also, just keep in mind, forward thinking and being, in the innovative state will make you successful.
That's absolutely right. And again, we're going to keep pushing on the Take Charge end as well. So please look on our Facebook page, either mine or the Take Charge radio show, for more updates on the Success of Failure event and movement. And again, it's just been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure to not only be in the presence of someone who Thank you very much. Having fun here with our audience.
Yay!
Thank you, Yashwini Dancer. Thank you very much. And I hope you're going to be on this bus with us. I'm serious. I'm calling out my Baltimore folk. Let's do something together in a positive way. Let's make a positive impact, not only just for the event, but just think about how great will be coming from that event. There's a saying that you cannot fill a cup that's already full. And I think that's what you meant by kind of coming with your guard down and things like that. But I always look for an opportunity to learn and to grow from. And again, if you're stuck in those very same patterns, if you're constantly finding yourself, not feeling that joy, feeling in a rut, not making enough money to have ends meet, or not being in that right relationship, maybe it's time to learn from that failure and let's move on, because there is success in that. It's just, how are you choosing to look at that? And with that being said, it has been a pleasure, Ms. Felicia.
I enjoyed myself. Thank you so much.
Oh,
thank you.
I got a hug too.
Woo!
This is what I'm talking about. Connections. And don't be afraid to step out. This is Felicia Peacock, CEO of Decisive Advocates, all the way from Ohio. And this is Jeff from Take Charge. And until next week, make sure you take charge of your thoughts, take charge of your actions, take charge of your future.